joining will just have to join a bit later, but we're going to start. Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of the Medical School Running Club's Zoom Talk series. My name is Sibusisiwe Gcwensa. Head of Equity and Discipline in the club, but I will also be your host for tonight. So tonight we have a very special guest all the way from Stellenbosch. He is an upcoming South African rugby player, and he has many commendable milestones to show for his career, such as the fact that when he was under 13, he was part of Craven Week in 2011. He was part of the under 16 Grant Cormo tournament in 2014. When he was under 18 in 2015, he was also part of Craven Week. And then from 2017 to 2018, he was part of the South African Sevens Academy. He played for the Western Province during 2017 to 2019 for under 19 and under 21. And when he was under 21, he won Most Promising Player. And then from 2019 till now, he has been a part of the Marties and has played 24 games for them in the Varsity Cup. Now that alone is a mouthful, but on top of that, he is a fourth-year student at the University of Stellenbosch, studying a Bachelor of Science in Agri-Science and focusing on plant and soil sciences. I am talking about none other than Gift Dlamini. So Gift.
Hi, Sibu. Thank you so much. This is a wonderful opportunity for me, and I appreciate you taking the time out to interview me.
Not a problem. Thank you for being here tonight. And maybe just before we start, if anyone has a question during the interview, they can just pop it in the chat, and we will read it out in the end if we do have time. So we're just going to start off very light. How about you could just tell us about yourself? Are you originally from Stellenbosch? So growing up, did you always want to be a rugby player? Maybe did you have something else in mind?
So no, I'm not originally from Stellenbosch. I was born and bred in the Free State in a small town called Virginia. When I go back to Stellenbosch, I like to say I'm from Welkom because not a lot of people know where Virginia is. So yeah, I have two siblings, two younger brothers. When I'm here, I'm staying with my mom and my grandmother as well. And yeah, growing up, I wouldn't necessarily say I wanted to always play rugby. I know I was into soccer, I was into athletics, you know what I mean? And my mom really wanted me to be a doctor. So yeah, I wouldn't really say I wanted to necessarily be a rugby player from the beginning. Yeah.
And you mentioned you have two brothers. Are they into rugby as well?
The youngest one, he was into rugby, but he is now done. He's hung up his boots and he's just focusing on school now.
Okay. So you're here now, right? I just read out a whole long list of everything that you have achieved so far. But where did it start? How were you introduced to rugby?
I first started playing rugby in grade 3. I remember one of my best mates, Martin. I remember when we were in grade 2, I always used to see them leaving class early or coming in their rugby jerseys, and I wondered what was going on because back then we didn't really have a TV, and we only used to listen to the radio. So I always used to wonder what is this? What are they playing? Because I was used to ball games. That's where like all the people who don't want to do anything just go play with each other and stuff. And I remember in grade 3, I just decided I asked him when he was going to join the rugby team. I asked him where is he going to, and he told me he was going to join. I mean, I was like, maybe I should give this a go. And from there on, yeah, that's where my rugby journey started, from grade 3 right up until where I am now. And I know that my late uncle, he was also a big influence once I started playing rugby, because he also used to play rugby, but he was more of an all-rounder. He used to play rugby, cricket, soccer, yeah.
Okay, so a lot of us have kind of that um, foundation when it comes to sport. I kind of started in primary, play in high school, but like at what point did you decide that you want to take it further, like you want to take it into varsity? Because most of the time, like myself, like you stop playing sports in matric and then you move into varsity any academics, So at what point did you decide this is something you want to take further?
I wouldn't necessarily say there was a defining moment. I just feel like it just sort of happened, you know what I mean? It just became a part of my lifestyle. But if I had to pinpoint like a pivotal moment in my life, that would probably be grade 7, when my achievements were acknowledged and I made the under 13 Craven Week team. Because I remember that in that year, I come from in primary school. I went to Harmony Primary School, and we were good rugby school, but like we only played in the B division. So there were a lot of other schools that were well known, a lot of other rugby players that were well known above me. So when I made that team, it was kind of a shock at first. But after that, that's when I think I started believing in my skills and started believing in the talent that I have. So I think that's literally when I could say it was a pivotal moment. Yeah.
Okay. And obviously, to get where you are right now, it needs a lot of dedication, needs a lot of work ethic, perseverance. And more often than not, we have seen that before in someone. So would you say you have someone who's a role model to you? And why are they your role model? What qualities did you see in them that you wanted to display yourself?
I wouldn't necessarily say that I have one specific role model. I look up to a lot of people, especially people that play the same position as me. I play flanker 6, so I look up to a lot of world-renowned rugby players that also play the same position. And one of my favorites is Sia Kolisi, because of I just admire the journey that he had to go through. You know what I mean? From young, he had nothing, and uh, it sort of like I sort of resonate with that, because growing up we also didn't have much. You know what I mean? And I saw how my mom had to fight and how she had to make a way for herself and for us. So just his journey was quite exceptional, incredible. And if I look to other players, I'd say players like Sam Underhill, David Pocock, or whatever. But if I had to choose one and one only, that would be Audi Sevilla. I just love the way he plays. I feel like me and him have similar playing styles. You know, we're not your retro six flankers. You know, we're all over the place doing stuff that other people don't do. So yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. And just to like bring it back maybe to the academic side, you're currently a student and you've made it all the way to 4th year juggling rugby and school as well. How do you do that? Because obviously we know school is a lot on its own. Like, I think everyone on this call has experience with that. But for anyone who says, they can't do sports, or because this is a running club, they can't go for a run because school is too much, they don't have time, they can't make time for sport. What would you say helped you juggle?
I don't think there's like a set formula for being a student athlete. You know what I mean? I think there's different methods that work for a lot of people. But for me, the easiest advice I'd give to someone is just managing your time. You know what I mean? Like between your social life, between your sports, between your academic, it's important like to have like a plan, to plan ahead. You know, that I'm gonna spend this amount of hours here, this amount of hours there, because I believe that each of these are extremely important, in order to balance just like your whole life in general, because you can't give one aspect a lot of time and neglect the other. Because I've realized that as a student athlete, our mental health is something that suffers because of our mismanagement of time and stuff. So it's important to manage those times. So some formulas I've used is like just finding classmates, making friends in class, you know what I mean, so they can help you catch up, because sometimes you do go on trips and you miss out on the work, so they can help you fill in the gaps when you're not there. Just making friends in different sporting codes and all walks of life. That's also like, that's more on the social side, you know what I mean, because they have different ways that they deal with stuff, so they can also help you. So yeah, I think that's all that you need. That's important to balance it.
Yeah. And I like that. And you've been playing rugby for quite a while now. And it's obviously really contributed to your life and possibly your character as well. So what would you say are some of the things rugby has taught you about yourself? Like, what have you realized about yourself through rugby?
Um, Honestly, it's taught me to be extremely hardworking.
Mm.
Uh, it's taught me to be disciplined, to be respectful to everyone that I know, whether they're struggling, whether they're better than you, whatever. Just be respectful. And I feel like all of these aspects can literally be applied to all walks of life. Like on and off the field, I feel like if you're hardworking on the field and you take that off the field, that immediately applies to like your schoolwork. If you're respectful to your teammates and your opponents, you can be respectful to other people who are in different like different jobs or whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah. I think that's very important as well. And what would you say to the date is your biggest achievement, or one that means the most to you rather? And why is that so?
My biggest achievement, it probably has to be winning most promising player,
Mm,
because I remember around that time I was really going through a rough patch in terms of my rugby. It was difficult to make the team.
mm,
So and I knew that I felt like I was better, you know what I mean, and I was the best. But obviously, you know what I mean. That the coach has a plan and everything. So um, I wasn't getting picked. So when I won most promising player at Western Province under 21, that just helped boost my confidence and just support my claim that I was like the best in my field, you know, the best, and that just showed that I could be the better than I was at that moment. So yeah, and another important achievement was being able to because I was vice captain, but
mm.
there were times when our captain was injured and stuff, and it was in some of those games, were really important games, where I had to stand in as captain, and that just also like was a big achievement, and it just helped me, you know what I mean, with my confidence and with my leadership skills and stuff.
And another important thing, I think, is what kind of mental tool you use to work under pressure, like be it on the field, be it in your academics, like what do you use or how do you bring yourself back towards yourself under pressure, like to acknowledge that you're going through it or you're under pressure, but to stay focused in the moment and stay present in the moment still.
Yeah, like I said, like mental health is like a big issue among athletes today. You know, we really suffer because of just a lot of pressure on us to do good and stuff. And I've just personally I've just tried to strengthen my mental health. You know what I mean? By
Mhm,
so I watch a lot of sports outside of rugby, like
mhm.
soccer, and a personal favorite of like my personal favorite is like watching basketball, and just watching like a lot of documentaries and a lot of matches, games that they play, and just seeing how they handle real life situations, or how they handle
Yeah.
pressure situations like that. And it's really helped me to handle those kind of situations that I face as well. So like I said, I've seen like the greats, how they've been on the losing side, and they just, you know what I mean, how they handled it in terms of picking themselves up and just, you know what I mean, moving forward and not moping around and just being focusing too much on it. So yeah, I just think like I watch a lot of videos, a lot of documentaries, and that really helps me strengthen my mental health.
And okay, you've mentioned that being a student athlete affects you a lot in terms of mental health, and you've kind of spoken like on the bad. Are there any benefits that you think apply as well? Like, do you find that after a game or after practice, you feel lighter or anything like that?
Yeah, I do, because I've realized in a team environment, not everyone is the same. You know what I mean? Some people are are more tougher than others. You know what I mean? Whether it's physically or it's mental, it's whatever, spiritual. A lot of people are different. So for me, that helps me just pick up my teammates. You know what I mean? Because I've developed a reputation in a team where like I'm the guy that picks up the guys when they're down. I'm the guy that's gonna be the first one to lift up the vibe. And yeah, that's literally how it's helped me. Just like motivating guys when I see like someone is down or someone is having a rough patch, or if I've been in a similar situation, giving them advice on how to deal with it. Because like obviously there's a lot of age groups as well in the team, you know what I mean? So some guys are younger, some guys are older. So it all comes with the experience, I guess.
Yeah.
Just motivating the younger players and just helping them make the right decisions.
Yeah. And maybe just as a closing statement, because we are at the end of our interview before we go into the questions from the audience, what would you say to any young person who wants to start a career in sport, whether they were as young as you were when you started, or if they want to do varsity sports and maybe they're anxious about, coping, how they're going to juggle both academics and sports? What would you say to those people?
Yeah, for anyone who wants to pick up sports, you know, I think primary school or high school is like a foundation for that, but that's not the all too of everything, you know. So for me, like I said, I played a lot of sports growing up, but then I had to make a decision on which one was the best for me. And so I had to make a lot of sacrifices. Like maybe I was good in another sport, but like rugby, I felt like rugby was the best option for me. So it's about like choosing sports that you're really good in and that you really enjoy. You know what I mean? It's no use picking something that you're not going to enjoy at the end of the day, that you're just doing just because you're just good at it, but you don't really enjoy it. So it's about that. And you know, just like I said earlier, that just managing your time. You know, I think a lot of people, especially people who don't do sports or who just do academics, I think they underestimate how tough it is for us student athletes. You know what I mean? Like waking up early in the morning, going back, getting back late, having to study and repeating that whole process, and then training in between. So yeah, it's really difficult. So I think it's also like just not underestimating that it's gonna have a toll on you, but it's just how you pick yourself up and how you manage your time and and the influences you have around you. I feel like friends and family are the biggest aspects of life. You know, I mean, that's my biggest values when I have good friends and good family around that keep motivating me and can offer me a shoulder, you know what I mean, when I need to vent or when I need advice, you know what I mean. So yeah, that's something I think is important.
Yeah, thank you for that. I'm just gonna go on the chat and check for people's questions. So the first one I see is from Ulunga Kadala. He says, "What's the biggest lesson you've learned throughout your entire journey?"
Um, the biggest lesson for me, I would have to say, is it comes back to the people who support you. You know what I mean? Like there are gonna be days when things are not going good for yourself, and it's about the people that are around you. If you've kept a great crowd around you, that's going to support you. You know what I mean? And it boils down to the choices that you make, whether you are going to choose the party lifestyle or the fun lifestyle, or you're going to choose that hardworking lifestyle where you have people that are hardworking also around you that support you. You know what I mean? That have the same goals as you and the same mindset as you. So it's important to choose those wisely as well. So yeah.
Yeah. And I saw another question from someone wanting to know what your diet looks like.
So for me personally, I've always been told that I eat like the worst stuff, but it's because I struggle. I genuinely struggle to gain weight, so I can afford to eat all over the place. But I've recently changed over to like a healthier diet of like incorporating quite a couple of fruits in there, fruits and vegetables. I owe that obviously to my girlfriend. She's pretty hectic about that. But also like just water, and you know what I mean. I found that supplements, the right kind of supplements, are also like important, especially like in the field that I'm in rugby. So like you need supplements because like you need to get those minerals back that you're losing every day on the field. So yeah, it doesn't hurt to have like a cheat meal now and then, like once a week. So yeah, it's all part of the plan. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I think I don't see any more questions from anyone. So I think we have reached the end of our interview. So I just want to say thank you so much for spending time with us this evening. I think your insight was quite refreshing because I think it's important to have someone that's like almost your age sometimes to how they're going through life, where it's not always really old established people looking back. Like you're just telling us about what you're currently going through, and we can relate as well to that. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Sibu. Thank you for the opportunity. Like I said, it was very insightful, and I hope that yeah, I've been a great help to someone out there who's considering like just being a student athlete and just what direction to take.
Yeah. So it's been such a pleasure having you, and to everyone that joined, thank you so much for joining. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I think it was quite refreshing, like I said. Be on the lookout for the next episode, and we will release details on that when it is available. So from me, it's been a pleasure being your guys' host. Thank you guys so much, and good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.